All right, what's going on, everybody? So I want to talk about this drone thing. I seen some footage that was just really suspicious, and the feds are saying not to worry about it. And I want to talk about it for several different reasons. I believe, everything that people have said over the last couple of years, conspiracy theories, we have to be just watching and praying. I just think it's weird that this is happening right before, Trump is about to take over. We remember what was going on in 2019 and 2020, 2018, and we don't want to go through none of that stuff again. But with that being said, let me address something first. I know this is one of the first lives that I've did since this other situation that happened. Look, bottom line is I made a mistake. I was wrong. I said that in the video. I got involved. A little bit of PTSD because I've dealt with, you know, sexual trauma in the church and abuse and people trying to cover it up. And so, I got a little bit emotional about something and I jumped the gun. I thought I was doing the right thing. And when I got more information, I just realized, look, it was none of my business. God is going to judge it at the end. So I don't want to just get on here and just kind of brush past that, even though I made a video, and I apologized publicly. I took all the videos down because I didn't want people arguing about the family business on my platform anymore once I realized I made a mistake. So no excuses. I got to take my whooping. I got to take the backlash. I just don't want to get on the live and just act like it didn't happen even though I already addressed it. The bottom line is I made a mistake. There's no excuse for the mistake. I should have did my due diligence. I thought I was doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? I've dealt with sexual trauma in the church. I've seen it destroy families. It has affected my personal life. And so the reality is I saw it. I got emotional. I thought I was like, doing the right thing, but I just didn't have enough information. But the beautiful thing is God is going to judge at the end and he never misses. All right. So I want to acknowledge that I made a mistake. I apologize for that. I'm not perfect. And now I just got to take my spanking. All right. So with that being said, I want to just dive into this. All right. You guys have been seeing this thing with these drones. All right. So let me read this real quick. Weeks of unexplained drone sightings in New Jersey have left residents, politicians, and public safety officials scratching their heads, prompting security concerns. With residents and multiple public officials calling for a response to the drone activity and experts working to uncover exactly what is going on, the White House National Security Community Advisor John Kirby sought to assure the public on Thursday that there is no public threat to safety. So we've seen where they're saying, look, guys, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. But I have an issue with that for several reasons. All right. These drones are flying around in the sky. It's a national security thing because why do we not have an answer? Like, why? What if we can't just let people be flying drones in the sky? What if somebody has attached, a weapon to it? What if somebody has, some kind of wicked motives? What if they fall out of the sky? They're saying some of these drones are as big as a car. What if they hit a plane? What if they hit a building? What if they hit a power line? Some terrorists using it. What if they're just trying to do surveillance? What about privacy? What is the protocol for taking these down? Apparently, this has been happening now for what, a week, a couple days now. What are the rules of engagement? So, for the government to come out and say, don't worry about it, it's not a big deal. Just look the other way. That is a problem. What about people's personal privacy? All right. Now, I think I understand anything above 50 feet, kids flying little airplanes and the little drones. You have to fill out a form with the FAA to get a flight plan. All right. And what I heard is that these drones that are flying do not have a flight plan. And so the FAA, right, if you don't know what that is, that's the transportation agency that regulates and oversees civil aviation in the United States. The FAA's primary mission is to ensure the safety of civil aviation. All right. The FAA manage air traffic and navigation systems for civil and military aircraft. So, in order for you to be flying the drones that high, you have to get right. You have to report it to the FAA. FAA, say you want to fly your drone over a river or a lake or something like that. They need to know because they're coordinating all, so planes don't hit other planes and things like that. So the fact that they're saying these drones do not have a flight plan with the FAA, that some of these drones are as big as a car, and then some of the videos that I'm about to show you, that is concerning. It makes, and they're flying near military bases. I don't want people to panic and overthink it. Maybe the military is just, doing something with the drones, but that is real questionable and concerning. Like, what is the protocol? So, what are we going to do in the future, right? When everybody just starts flying drones, right? You're supposed to go through the FAA. Right now, people are flying these little drones, so it hasn't really become as big of a deal. And I don't know if you guys seen in Florida, this guy shot a drone down. I think they said he did $10,000 worth of damage. It was hovering over his house, and then he got arrested. So what is the protocol going to be for privacy? What is the protocol going to be for national security when people just start flying drones all over the place? So with that being said, I don't want to make this video long. Let's take a look at some of this footage, because from some of the footage, it looks like they're spraying some stuff in the air, and it is concerning. And I'm going to show you one clip that will kind of make you question some stuff as well. So let's pull this. All right. Now, these pictures right here are AI generated, obviously, right? But they're getting better and better. And there's some, right? Can't tell the difference. So this is one of the first ones that was going around on the internet, right? Just flashing. That's like a real zoomed in kind of view.
Look at motherfucker. Look at him spraying. Look at that. Look at that. He is spraying the sky again. Bro, this is fucking crazy, man.
Sorry about the language.
Look at this guy.
So, it looks suspicious, right? And I know people just, conspiracy. We got to stop with the conspiracy theories. Now, yes, there's some crazy theories out there, but how many of the theories actually came true? Like, clearly this video is kind of concerning. I'm sorry about the language, but what is that?
They're spraying the skies.
And you have to remember, right, when people were talking about the Wuhan lab and what was the media saying? You're racist to say it came from China. And then years later, it comes out like, no, this was the truth the whole time. The same stuff with Rogan and the stuff that they were telling. I'm going to be careful with the words that I say, but they were saying, take this. And they said, that's horse tranquilizer. That's just crazy conspiracy. But then it ended up being true, right? And we can go down to this. People were saying, hey, get the what. But then you got it 2, 3, 4 boosters, and they were telling you that if you get it, that you're helping society and you're better. But there were people who were getting 3, 4, 5 times and still contracting, right? Are getting the disease and spreading it. And so, come on, man, like we can't just brush past it, but it's nothing. Don't worry about it.
Look, he just sprayed that. This guy just sprayed that.
Let's look at this next one right here coming up. All right. Same thing. I don't know what that is. Now, this
holy cow. That thing is completely stationary shooting.
Now, the reason I played this one, the AI is getting so dangerous. The Bible talks about in the last days, there'll be a strong delusion. I'm telling you, we're going to get to the point where people are going to put, when Trump is talking about fake news, we're going to get to the point where we don't know what is real and what's fake anymore. I saw this AI thing where they can take an image of 2 people and make them kiss. I'm going to tell you, they're going to be smear campaigns. There's going to be misinformation, and it's going to look so real at some point. Fake. I saw somebody make an AI song using my voice, using other people's voices. There's going to be fake phone calls. It's going to get ugly, and we're really going to have to discern it. So this looks like a Star Wars.
This is crazy. God, look at it. That's not a plane. Yeah, it's wild. That's not.
So even if this particular video is just some idiot with AI putting stuff out there, it still leaves the question: what do we do? Right now, kids are just flying these little drones, but people are starting to build these bigger drones. what is going to be the regulation when people just start flying drones, right? Let's say they don't get the FAA approval. Do we shoot them down? What do we do when someone is flying a drone over my house and it's affecting my privacy? What do we do if another country is just flying drones in here and the government is saying, don't worry about it, but this has been going on for weeks? What is the protocol to take them down? What if they attach a weapon to it? What if they attach a bomb to it? What if they're dumping some kind of chemicals? Government, President Biden, what is going to be the answer for this? We have to come up with some kind of protocol to protect our citizens. What if there is another government just getting surveillance? So what do we do when we got all these drones in the sky? How are we going to be like, this drone is okay, that drone is not okay? What do you do when someone says, look, well, they say, well, we got the FAA, you got to register to fly it. But what about when people say, no, I'm just going to fly the drone? How are we going to regulate that? I think that we're getting to a place, man, it's just going to be, it's dangerous, and we need to rethink some things. Like I said, I don't know if it's AI or whatever. You see in that first video in particular, clearly something was leaking out of it. All right. And that didn't look like AI at all.
Over my house right now. What is that?
It's the million-dollar question baffling New Jersey residents looking skyward.
They're just pacing back and forth, going very slow.
Since last month, dozens of drones mysteriously hovering in the skies at night. Near Morris County, the FAA has now ordered 2 temporary flight restrictions prohibiting drones over this military base and Trump National Golf Club after receiving reports of unexplained activity.
On in New Jersey.
So what happens when people say, you know what, I got this big drone, I'm not going to follow protocol, I'm just going to fly it anyway?
Where these drones just keep flying all over New Jersey and people are losing their minds. State senators are calling for a limited state of emergency. The governor says he's taking it deadly serious. One official said that more than 12 drones followed a Coast Guard boat on Sunday, while law enforcement says they saw another 50 drones coming from the ocean. And federal officials admitted in a congressional hearing this week that they can't definitively say the drones don't pose a threat, with the FBI saying they don't have a clue who the drones belong to, and local
don't pose a threat. What if the drone falls from the sky? They're saying they're big as a car. What if it hits a plane, hits a building, hits a power line, weirdo terrorists, privacy. I don't want drones flying over my house, recording my kids, watching my kids. You can't even have privacy in your backyard.
Military bases saying they don't have the authority to shoot them down. And so panic has spread all across the tri-state area, and you even have a congressman claiming that Iran has a mothership off the coast of the U.S. that's launching these drones. But today, you have the Pentagon saying, hold up, there is no so-called Iranian mothership launching drones towards the U.S., and the drones are not coming from a foreign adversary. So without a definitive answer, I'm going to present a
How do you know that? Could you share that information with the public?
theory. The drones flying over American airspace and U.S. military bases belong to the U.S. military, especially as this kind of UFO hysteria has happened a lot in American history since the 1940s. Right? It happened when they were attaching microphones to weather balloons, when they were testing the U-2 spy plane, the SR-71 Blackbird, the B-2, the F.
Another thing, they just, not even just pictures, they put a drone with a microphone just hovering over your house.
117 Nighthawk, the list goes on. And the developments of these aircraft happened in special access programs and black projects, which would mean the FBI, Congress, local officials are not lying to you. They genuinely have no clue because they aren't privy to such information. So that is my theory, or time-traveling aliens from another dimension. But for now, subscribe to...
No idea where these drones come from.
I do believe when I saw that first, what was it, Amazon drone that they were testing out, I'm like, man, this just makes me think of the B system. We talked about social credit score. We talked about the stuff that was going on during the lockdowns, right? That it's a warm up for the B system, power and control. If you don't get this, you can't buy groceries. If you don't put on this, you can't buy groceries. The Bible says in the last days, what? They're going to say, if you don't have the mark, you cannot buy, you cannot sell. They're warming you up. And then if we make everything a digital currency at the click of a button, hey, you don't want to bow down, you don't want to play ball, we'll turn everything off. It's over for you. So these drones just look like another way to monitor, in China, they got the social credit score system. And, if you jaywalk, you lose points. You lose enough points, you can't go to the store anymore. I am concerned about this. The government's saying, don't be concerned. I'm concerned.
Owns them.
The mysterious sightings happen at night, apparently coming from the ocean. Sometimes they turn off their lights. It's leaving residents and lawmakers unsettled.
There are literally dozens of drones flying around.
Another drone. I mean, they're silent.
One lawmaker saying the government needs to take action.
Take them out of the skies, especially if they're flying over airports or military bases. They should be shot down if necessary.
These encounters happen frequently near military bases, such as the Picatinny Arsenal and areas around the Raritan River in New Jersey. Drones pose no significant threat.
We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat.
So what are we gonna do, Kirby? We just gonna let them fly around? Like, what is the protocol? I'm not liking this world that, this America that my kids are about to grow up in.
Or have a foreign nexus.
But Senator Tom Tillis points out the mystery has exposed gaps in protecting U.S. airspace.
It's a bit embarrassing. And I think the real issue is, let's assume that this is innocuous, but look how vulnerable it presents us.
Deepening.
Oh, it's slowing down.
Tonight, authorities in Toms River, New Jersey, launching.
You saw how big that drone is that they're about to launch, right? It's pretty big. Imagine that just falling from the sky, falling on the highway, falling on a building, falling on the power lines. What I'm hearing is that these drones that you just saw go up, the other drones are bigger than those.
Their own drone offensive for a closer look. Their eye in the sky, capturing one of the drones in motion. You're not targeting or going after them, so to speak. Is there a methodology and reason why?
Well, right now we just want to identify what it is. The way it was explained, they're 2 feet bigger than our drones, or 2 times the size rather, so they're about 4 feet, and it looks like it's a fixed wing type craft. What concerns us mostly is that at this point, nobody's seen any of these units taking off or landing.
This is a significant threat to U.S. national security.
Retired 4-star general and NBC News military analyst Barry McCaffrey tells NBC News there's good reason why local and federal agencies are treading carefully.
When you see something of this capacity, you wonder why it would be needed. What are they doing?
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, oh, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. There's so many things that they can do wrong with the drone. Like, it's weird. Like, the government, unless they're just not telling us something, right? I think like, hey, they need to wake up and realize, like, people are not just dumb anymore. They're not just believing what the media is saying and what the government is saying. There is a swamp that needs to be drained. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's debatable who's part of that. There is some just shady stuff that's going on, and people are not just, especially after what happened with the pandemic and all the facts came out, people are not just going to bow down and listen no more.
It implies a heavy payload.
There is a danger to the public. These things are up in the air. With the colonel of the New Jersey State Police said they turn off their lights and they turn off their locating beacons. And that's right there is a violation of federal law. So, and the state police have seen them. And they commented what they do when the state police gets near them. Yet the White House says, oh, there's no credible threat. The threat is if they're turning off their lights, they could get entangled in an airplane or some other, a helicopter or something. And the weight of these things, if they somehow malfunction, lost their power, and they come down, if they weigh 50 pounds and they're falling from 300 feet.
I've always said that with airplanes. It's funny how we put more faith in an airplane than we put in God. People just trust that the airplane is going to take them from point A to point B. But the reality is, when I was in the military, we had to do inspections on our vehicles. And I seen people not do the proper inspection. Like, what if a screw's loose? What if a, human being didn't do the proper check? The same thing we see with the amusement park rides. A guy comes in, he has a bad day, he didn't do the proper checks, something goes wrong, that thing falls out of the sky. What is the protocol to keep people safe on the ground?
That's not going to be good for whoever's underneath of it. So I really think Mr. Kirby's statement today was pretty stupid.
Hello, how you doing, ma'am? Sheriff's office.
Hi.
Hi, is your husband home by chance?
Sure.
Can I talk to him?
Okay. Bye.
When questioned, Wynn admitted to shooting at the drone with a 9mm pistol.
How you doing, sir?
Can't complain. What's up?
So, I'm going to be careful, got a wasp above your head.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let me.
Yeah, it's close before he gets in the house.
What the hell is...
So, it's actually in reference to that. So, at some point today, did a drone fly over your house and you shoot at it? I'm going to be real blunt with you and ask.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, why'd you shoot at it?
Because I thought it was somebody and turn around playing games on my house.
I got you. Where did you see the drone at?
Right above me.
What, can you walk out and just kind of show me?
I'm not gonna lie, this story kind of irritated me. Hopefully this guy is free already. Does anybody know? Let me know in the comments. But they need to free this guy because this is ridiculous.
Right there.
Sitting straight above it?
Straight above me.
Do you have any idea?
Hovered, lowered some kind of cord down or something, turned around and sent something back up, and then after it was shot at, it turned around and went north.
Gotcha. Okay. What'd you shoot at it with?
9mm.
Okay. All right.
How much trouble am I in?
Quite a bit. You've been honest with me. I'm gonna be honest with you. Quite a bit, actually. So there's a federal charge that goes along with it. There's a felony charge that goes along with it. That's kind of like where we're at.
Okay.
So there's no protocols out there. You know, we just don't know. Oh, just let a drone just fly over your house. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was a couple months ago. I was driving to pick up my kids, and there was like a helicopter. But it wasn't like a news copter. It had like a weird look to it. It was just hovering over the highway, right? And my heart started beating because it looked out of place. It looked weird. And my mind started thinking, you know, what if something's attached? You know, it looked like it was a remote control helicopter. That's why it was strange to me. And it was just kind of hovering, you know, over the traffic. Now, there's probably a perfectly fine explanation, but I could understand why this man is seeing this isn't like this is a common thing. This big old drone just flying over your house. Like, what was he supposed to do?
Okay. What happens and what?
Well, before we continue this conversation, I'm really just for you being honest, you really just took me off guard. I'm not
what am I going to do? I'm going to lie?
True. All right, sir. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say
You're up putting me under arrest.
I'm just going to arrange you the Miranda warning just so I can get it out. That way you and I can continue our conversation, okay?
I understand the Miranda warning. I don't have to speak to you unless I want to. Okay.
I got.
How am I supposed to know the difference, especially this elderly brother right here, the difference between a Walmart drone, an Amazon drone, and then you just got a bunch of random drones flying around? Like I said, what is the protocol? And then when people start building their own drones and getting bigger drones and that people just flying them around, like how am I supposed to know the difference?
Got you. Let me just read you this real quick, and then we'll go from there, okay? You have the right to remain silent? Go ahead, Serge. 26. I'm already talking to him. All right, sir. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him or her present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. If you want to head out underneath it, get out the rain. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. You understand each of these rights I've explained to you. Having these rights in mind, you would just talk to us now.
Yes, I understand my rights.
Yeah, I got you. So, it was hovering above your house. It lowered something down.
No, it just hovered above my house.
You said something about the pool.
A cord or something. It stayed there for about 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I shot at it. Okay.
I got you.
And the cord went up. It turned because it was facing east.
Okay.
Because that's east, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was working on my pool equipment.
Oh, you were outside when you noticed it?
Oh, I was working on my pool equipment.
Gotcha.
Right on the outside of the house. I can show you where it is because it's still not. Evidently got blown out from the lightning strike last week.
Gotcha.
I'm just finding out. So it came over.
All your pockets are empty.
Oh, Bobby? Yeah. He's got to be home.
I left the message. He didn't get his phone.
Honey, take a picture of me.
She's going to hit you, and we're not going to say anything.
I don't like this at all, man. I don't like this at all. So, you know, for those of you who came in late, I showed you a lot of this footage right here. Now, you know, it looks like something's being sprayed in the sky. People are reporting this all over. Now, there's a couple ones all over the internet that looks like AI, which is another problem. The AI is getting so real, people are not going to know what's real, what's fake. I do believe this is foreshadowing of the beast system. I remember reading something in Revelation many years ago, I think when John is giving his, prophecies, somebody talks about something, being in the sky, right? Like, I think one person mentioned like scorpions flying in the sky or something. I'm gonna look up the verse and I'll post it in the comments, but it could be possible, this is what he was talking about. So I'm very concerned about this. All right. And I'll say this again, I said at the beginning, anything above 50 feet, right? You have to fill out a form with the FAA to fly those drones. But the reality is some people, they can just get the drone, they can fly it up, not go, contact the FAA. So then what? Right? If somebody wants to put a bomb, if somebody wants to put a gun, if somebody wants to put some weird chemicals, and let me fly this over to school and then just drop the chemicals or drop whatever, drop the package wherever. How do like this man here in Florida? Oh, well, that's an Amazon drone, that's a Walmart drone. How am I supposed to know the difference? How am I supposed to feel safe, for my family, my home, my kids? What about privacy? People could just fly over your home. Your kids are playing in the backyard. All right. And then, of course, like the guy talked about, the government is saying, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. It's not a big issue. Even if it's not a terrorist thing, even if, it's just the military doing some kind of exercise. What if they malfunction? What if it falls out of the sky? So it's just some questions, man. I think we should be concerned. And then you look at the perspective of, right before Trump's getting ready to take over, it's just always these weird things happening in the news. And we all remember what happened during the pandemic. People say, oh, it's conspiracy. It's conspiracy. You guys are crazy. Hey, but at the end of the day, just watch and pray, church. Bottom line, watch and pray and, put your trust in God. I wouldn't like sit here and be like terrified because, God is in control and he knows everything that's going to happen, period. So love you guys. Be blessed. I'm out. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. But I do think, we can't just don't do what the government says, oh, it's no big deal. Go to sleep. Don't worry about it. I think we should be alert because what we don't want to happen, if they are spraying the skies and all that kind of stuff, we don't want to fall for the okey doke again. We know there's weather machines. We know that there's the population control. We know that hopefully, that's why I believe it's such a great thing that Trump won. Hopefully RFK and these guys, can figure out what they're putting in our food. We see the rise in, autistic children, so many different things, so many ingredients in our food that is illegal in other countries. And so, I'm just believing that God has allowed, Trump to get in this season. And hopefully this stuff really does, the swamp really does get drained. This stuff really gets exposed. We talked about how God was going to expose the roots of things and that it was going to be so bad that it looked like something out of a movie. Right? Remember, we said that a couple of years ago. So we'll see. Let's watch. Let's pray, but we don't have to live in fear. God bless.